In the previous classes in mechatronics, already CNC is introduced and already discussed what is NC, what is CNC and what are the various components of CNC, comparison between NC, CNC and so on. In continuation with that, today in this class we are going to discuss the related topics such as interfacing, monitoring, diagnosis, part programming, compensations, etc. The contents which we are going to cover in this class are interfacing, monitoring of the CNC system, diagnosis of the CNC system, machine data and their accuracies, DNC linking, need of CNC part programming and coordinate system. The first and the foremost topic which we are going to discuss in this class is interfacing. At first one has to know what do you mean by interfacing, what is an interface device, what are the different interfaces and what sort of interface standards are in use. At first, interfacing is nothing but an interconnection of two or more devices by means of cables or connectors is nothing but an interfacing. Why an interface is required? We know that whenever you want to have connection between the two devices made by two different manufacturers, there must be a compatibility or synchronization in communication between these two devices. For that, we are simply using the connectors, we are calling them as interfacing. So if the interfacing which we are using is not active, communication between the devices is not possible. Here we have to know one more thing, that is what sort of role this interfacing is playing in CNC. You know, CNC is a system and machine is another one. So CNC has to integrate with the machine and there must be a communication between the CNC system and the machine. The different equipments of CNC and the machine are made by different manufacturers. So there must be a standard between them and an effective or efficient interface device is required to have an effective communication between the CNC and the machine. We know that machine is controlled by CNC in case of or CNC system in case of a CNC machine. Now we will move to the interface device. You know, interfacing, interconnecting the individual elements of both the machine and the CNC system using cables and connectors is called interfacing. In order to load a part program into the CNC memory or unload a program from the CNC memory, a hardware connection called a data interface is needed. An interface is usually an electronic device that is designed to communicate with the computer of the CNC unit. Now let us have a look at this figure. This is a CNC machine and this is a table and this is a slide movement, this is a feedback device and this is a feedback signal. This is actually a machine control unit called as MCU. So there must be an effective communication between the table and the machine control unit MCU. So for that we are using a interface. Between these two devices there must be an effective interface to send the feedback from the table to the MCU and from the MCU to the table. Generally MCU is controlled by PLC, it is a program logic control. So for that, even within this figure also we can tell one thing, that is, here if the interface is not working well, it is not possible to have a communication between the MCU and the table. Otherwise the machine cannot be controlled by MCU effectively without effective interfacing device. Now let us see this block diagram. Here this is a CNC system and number of units are there in the CNC system. The first and the foremost one is a PLC, it is a program logic control. Here an interface device is there, we are simply calling this as an IO interface. Here we are giving the inputs externally and we are getting the outputs externally. That means from the externally we are giving some input to the machine or to the control unit. This control unit will generate the required output and this will supply that output to the machine. So this is a block diagram which represents the role of an interface within this CNC system. Next, what are the different interface devices? Typical interfaces along with the storage media are tape reader and tape puncher, data cassettes, data cards, bubble cassettes, floppy disks, hard disks, removable devices, ROM devices, that is a read-only memory devices and others. So from this we can tell one thing, that is whatever memory device or a storage device which you use to store your programs, these programs must be effectively communicated to the control device. In order to have this type of effective communication, there must be an effective interface device. By means of this interface device, it is possible for you to obtain interfacing. Next, we will discuss about some of the examples for interfacing. One is BTR, that is a behind the reader CNC interface. Now what this BTR interface will perform? It is BTR is a behind the reader CNC interface. What it will do is it will eliminate the paper tapes. Here you see this example. This is a computer. Let us take this as a machine, whatever may be the machine, and here we are having different devices attached to this computer. We will feed the program to the computer instead of a paper punch, and this computer will feed the required program to the machine through the controller. So this is what BTR will do. This BTR will replace the paper punch. Next, the BTR interface allows the user to eliminate paper tapes by using a PC to replace the paper tape reader. Whenever you are using the paper tape, we have to use the tape reader. If you use the BTR interface, the BTR interface will allow the replacement of this tape reader by using a PC. With the BTR controller, it just loads its part programs directly from the PC. The another important interface which is having very good use whenever there is a need to have an interaction with the computer is R32 interface. Even in the computer, to connect the different auxiliary devices, we are using an interface. We are calling that interface as RS232 interface. Another standard is there, it is RS232C interface. Data transfer between two electronic devices, that is computers and controls, requires a number of settings that use the same rules for each device. Since each device may be manufactured by a different company, they must follow a certain independent standard. The RS232C is such a standard. The letter RS stands for recommended standard. In the CNC, in order to have the communication between the CNC system and this machine, most commonly used standard is RS232 standard. So next is a monitoring. Here at first you have to know what do you mean by monitoring and what sort of benefit is there with the monitoring. As we know, being a mechanical students, the difference between a breakdown maintenance and a preventive maintenance. What preventive maintenance will do? Preventive maintenance always postpone the failure of the machine. Very similarly, this monitoring will help the postponement of the failure of the machine, or it always tries to keep the machine and the other equipment in good working condition. Now let us go to the slide. The following features are to be monitored regularly to minimize breakdowns or to run the machine unmanned. They are circuit cables, position encoder drives, contour, spindle speed, enable signals, voltage, temperature, microprocessors, change of status of buffer battery, system program memory, user program memory, data transfer between machine control unit and programmable logical unit. It is the data transfer between MCU to PLC and vice versa, and the coordinate system. What actually going to happen in monitoring? Whenever you are keeping your CNC machine in use, at a regular interval of time, it is the responsibility of the human being to monitor the equipment which is connected with the CNC system. That is the machine, connectors and the CNC system, equipment related to that. Whenever the proper monitoring is exercised, the preventive maintenance is possible. In turn, the breakdowns can be postponed. Next is diagnosis. Diagnosis, the controls will be provided with test assistance for service purposes and to display the same status on the CRT, such as counters of the PLC, timers of the PLC, flags of the PLC, interface signals between NC and PLC. Here we have to remember one thing, that is, what is the role played by a diagnosis? Actually, diagnosis is a mechanism which is used during the service. Whenever a component is failed or whenever the component is having some problem, then the diagnosis part will come into the picture. How it is possible to test whether the machine is functioning well or not? So, for that we are moving towards diagnosis. In the diagnosis, some flexibility or mechanism is adopted where they will give some test signals. For example, let us take a machine in which they observed that the slide is not moving properly. Otherwise, the slide is moving ineffectively or inaccurately. How it is possible to test? So, for that, through this control unit, they will give some input signal and they will measure how much amount of distance this slide is moving. It becomes an output. They will compare this input with output through this feedback mechanism. If there is any problem, then they will go for some rectification. So, in order to go for rectification, there must be a mechanism to give some input and to test the output of the system. For that we are going for diagnostic routines. Not only that, these diagnostic routines will help a lot in the CNC or in the CNC automation. Whenever there is any problem in the system, automatically the system will give an error code in the CRT. For example, without any feed, if you switch on the machine, it will give you one type of error, or without fixing the tool, if you try to start your program, it will give you another type of error. Or if any of the devices connected to the system is not responding well, it will give you the respective error. So, in this manner, the diagnostic routines will always plays a major role in keeping the system intact and to bring the system into good working condition in no time or in less time. Next is machine data. At first, we have to know what do we mean by machine data. The CNC is interfaced to machine by means of data which is machine specific. The NC and PLC machines data can be entered and changed by means of external devices or by manually using keyboard. Normally, this data is fixed and entered during commissioning. Whenever you purchase any CNC machine, they will supply the specific data related to that particular machine. What about the travel of the slide? What about the speed? What about the voltage and temperature zones? And how much amount of depth of cut can be given? That certain amount of data, and what is the machine zero specification? certain amount of data will be supplied along with the machine by the manufacturer. So, that data is specific to that machine. Why you are calling that as a specific or a machine specific? Why? Because that data is valid to that particular machine or to that particular model. Whenever you are moving from one machine to the other machine, this particular data may vary. The following machine specifications are normally entered. One is access travel limits, feed rates, rapid traverse speeds, drift compensation. Here within this slide there are certain things. One is the access travel limits. Whenever you take a lathe machine, actually it is nothing but a two axis machine. One is the x axis and the other is the z axis. Here what is the limits for the axis? Where the slide can start or a class slide can start moving, and what is its end point? That is, what is the limits of movement of the slide will be denoted. Or even you consider the tool holder, how much amount of distance it has to travel, these things will be defined. Simply we are calling them as access control limits. Next is feed rates. Whenever you take any machine, basing on its rigidity, some feed limits will be specified. So, these feed rates are entered into the machine by the manufacturer. Those values are defined during the manufacturing. And rapid traverse speeds. Here I think you are already aware of these things. Linear feed, rapid feed, or a linear traverse and rapid traverse. Linear traverse is generally taking place during the cutting operation. Rapid traverse, definitely the slide will move at a faster rate, and during this rapid traverse it is nothing but a non-cutting period. That is, once the cutting operation is performed, in order to bring the cutting tool to the original position, generally we will go for rapid transfers. Next is drift compensation. Some other things are there in association with this: backlash compensation, pitch error compensation, spindle speeds, machine tool builder supplied constant parameters. Here most of the things regarding the machine data is supplied by the manufacturer, and that data will be fed to the CNC system during the commissioning itself. But here we have to know one more thing, that is, once you keep the machine in working condition, certain variations will come into the picture. These variations are a natural phenomena, that is just because of wear and tear or the slackness in the mechanical system, some variations will come into the picture. In order to overcome those variations, generally some sort of compensations will be provided. Not only that, these mechanical systems are having some inherent limitations also. The first and the foremost limitation is backlash. Now we will go to the certain compensations which one generally provide for the CNC machine. Let us go to the slide. Compensations for machine accuracies. The following machine parameters influences the machine accuracy. So, necessary compensation is to be added as machine data. Geometric accuracy in the alignment of the slideways. Here just now I told you machine data is different from the compensations. Machine data is fed by the manufacturer during the commissioning of the machine, but the compensations are provided to the machines in order to overcome the variations which are taking place in the CNC system. For that, different types of variations may come into the picture. In order to overcome those variations, different types of compensations are to be provided. The first and the foremost one is geometric accuracy in the alignment of the slideways. Deflection of bed due to load, temperature gradient, accuracy of the screw thread and amount of backlash, amount of twist of the shaft. These are the things against which you have to provide some compensations. Now let us go to this figure which gives you a typical error curve. Let us consider this. This is a reference point. This is a pitch error. Here in this point we can tell one thing, that is basing, actually this line has to follow from the reference point. So from the reference point we are fixing the main line and we are observing the variation in the screw pitch. We are simply calling the pitch error. The pitch error is like this, that is up to certain point it is positive and in the remaining point it is negative, and after that it is once again crossing the mean line, that is once again it is positive. So from this we can tell one thing, that is the pitch error is non-linear, it is simply a fluctuating about the mean line. So here taking some compensation for the screw pitch becomes a typical phenomena. Why? Because it is not a linear one. If it is a linear one, we will give a simple specification, that specification will taken care of the system and it can perform the operation. What sort of problem will come into the picture here? We know that this lead screw is moving the carriage. So whenever some error is there in the screw, then automatically the carriage movement is also having some error. In order to prevent this, we will measure the variation in this screw or variation in this screw pitch, that is the pitch error, by means of a laser. That means the laser beam will monitor the fluctuation in the pitch or pitch error in the lead screw along its total length, and this value will be fed into the computer in order to take care of this pitch error. Whenever this data is fed to the computer and whenever the table moves to that particular position, automatically the CNC system will taken care of that error, it will give or it will provide some compensation to rectify that problem. Next is another error you see here, also rolling element position. Here whenever you observe that this pitch difference is there, here the pitch is X but here the pitch is Y. So whenever you are considering a ball screw, especially this particular problem will come into the picture in case of ball screws. So here the ball screw is provided with number of balls, but the pitch between the balls is not same, it is deferred, which causes certain amount of error during the rotation. Next is effect of misalignment. So generally we know that in this system the shafts must be aligned. Whenever there is a misalignment, the rotation will be out. So this out rotation always yields some error in the product which you are manufacturing. So for that we will take care of that particular problem by providing some compensation for misalignment. Misalignment in bearing assembly. The misalignment in bearing assembly results the following problems. Local concentration of load imbalances the shaft and reduces the life, increases the operating temperatures, undue runout on the spindle nose causing noise vibration. Next is preparing for assembly. Necessary care and machine design data to be followed to reduce the inaccuracies in machine tool assembly. So these are the precautions which one has to take in order to prevent the inaccuracy in the machine or in the system. In order to overcome these inaccuracies, we have to provide several compensations. Just now we discussed certain compensations which are existing in the machine. That means manufacturer is providing certain data and we are calling that as a machine data, which is machine specific. Even though the data is accurate, once the machine is bring into the use over a span of a period, because of friction or because of wear rate, certain amount of components will yield certain errors. So some of them are backlash and a screw pitch, or even the error in ball screws. Here one has to remember one thing, that is backlash error is inherent, which cannot be prevented. Even it is a new backlash error is already present in it. But the only thing one can do is they can reduce the backlash error, otherwise they can provide some compensation for backlash. You know what do you mean by backlash? Whenever you rotate the screw by some angle, or whenever you rotate the nut over the screw by some angle, and if you rotate the nut by same angle in the reverse direction, it may not reaches to its original position. We are simply calling it as a backlash. It is nothing but a lost return motion. That means whenever you are trying to return the screw, some loss will be there. Generally, once the machine is new, this loss may not be predominant, but over a span of a period, because of wear rate, this loss becomes predominant, which cannot be prevented. Only thing is some compensation is to be provided. Till now we discussed about different compensations. Generally, one more question may arise in the minds of the students. Is it possible for you to enter the compensation values only once or at a frequent intervals? Dear friends, we have to remember one thing, that is, we are providing these compensation values because of wear and friction. Whenever this friction and wear are continuously existing in the systems, or whenever you are using the systems, definitely these values will make a play a predominant role. So automatically some more wear will be there. So some more compensation we have to provide. So at a frequent intervals, we are simply calling it as monitoring. By monitoring these systems, we have to provide some compensation. So providing compensation is not a one-time phenomena. It is a regular phenomena. Over a span of period, we have to test or we have to monitor our computer system. Basing on that, we have to provide the compensations. But whatever the compensations which we discussed till now, they are related to the components of the machines which are fixed. Now we will go to some of the compensations. Generally we have to provide, they are concerning with the cutting tools and the programming concepts. Let us go to the slide. The different compensations we have to discuss are SAC compensation, tool nose compensation, cutter diameter compensation, and tool offsets. What is the need to provide these compensations? Here one thing you have to know, CNC is a general machine which is developed by keeping the general use in view. You are using this CNC system for different types of machines. So from whenever you are adopting the CNC system to different machines, basing on the machine, you have to vary or we have to provide some compensations. Not only that, it is sometimes it may not be possible for you to use the correct tool, otherwise the tool which is specified while writing your program. Then automatically you have to provide some compensations. Now let us have a look on the slide. The first and the foremost one is a SAC compensation. Whenever the devices are elongated, subjected to tension, we have to take care of that elongation. For that we will provide some compensation. It is a SAC compensation. Next one is a tool nose compensation. Generally tool nose compensation is provided especially for CNC lathes or turning centers while cutting the chamfering or curvatures. While providing the curvature, we have to take care of nose radius or tool curvature. So basing on the curvature, the amount of radius you are going to adopt or we are going to obtain will depend. So basing on that, we have to provide some compensation. Not only that, cutter diameter compensation. Let us take a CNC milling machine where you want to perform certain milling operation and you developed a program by keeping one cutting tool in view. But whenever you want to implement the program in practice, the same diameter cutting tool may not be available. Then you are forced to move another cutting tool whose diameter may vary from the standard tool which you specified in your program. Whenever the diameter variation is there, then you have to provide some more compensation value to utilize this particular tool instead of the tool which you mentioned in your program. We are simply calling this as a cutter diameter compensation. Next is tool offsets. Whenever you consider the length of the tool, for example, here you want to perform a particular drilling operation by using your CNC. You are specifying the length of the drilling or length of the drill bit. But whenever you want to use the program on the machine, you are having a drill bit, but whose length is not same as the length you specified in the program. Without making any modifications to the existing program, you can use it by providing some compensation for length. We generally call them as offsets. They are tool offsets. Now we will move to the next slide. It is a DNC linking. The two-way communication between central computer and CNC nodes enables the user to immediately access any program from the library of programs on the host computer. At this juncture, one should know about the DNC and CNC. What sort of advantage is there with the DNC when compared to CNC? Here you have to remember one thing. No doubt CNC is an effective system. The program nowadays, whatever the program or part programs you want to execute, those part programs can be stored in the computers. Whenever you want to perform any machining operation, then you have to invoke that part program and you have to execute that part program. Here the major problem will come into the picture. In one shift, a particular operator made some modifications to the program to meet the requirements of the part or a component. In the next shift, the person who want to operate the machine may not aware of this. So he will try to use the same parameters or same program in order to get the product. So the product which you are going to get becomes an erroneous product or a defective product. How or why this particular problem is coming into the picture? Why? Because modification of a program is possible or is at the end of the operator. Basing on the requirement, the operator may modify the program. He may not inform the same to the next operator. Why? Because the same program may not be used by the next operator in the same day. He may use the program on some other day. Because of this reason, after some time, whenever the operator wants to use the same program, he may get a defective product. The similar problems may occur in the whole industry at different places. Why? Because the industry may have numerous number of CNC machines. By keeping this particular problem in view, DNCs are developed. DNC is a direct numeric control machine. What sort of advantage is there with the DNC? You know, in case of a DNC, there will be a server and there will be number of CNCs. Number of CNCs are interconnected to a server. All the programs are stored in the server. Whenever an operator wants to use a particular program, this operator can download the program from the server. He cannot make any modifications, or basing on the requirement, if this operator makes any modification, these modifications cannot be stored in the server. So the next shift the operator may download the program. He is going to download the program. It is of standard program. It is not of the program modified by the previous operator. So because of this reason, the DNCs can effectively control the programs. This is the first advantage. The second advantage is there is no need to keep the programs of same nature at more than one place. That means redundancy can be eliminated. Otherwise, at different places or at different CNC machines of the same shop floor, the same component may be produced. That means all these part programs are to be stored on all the machines. This particular problem can be prevented by using DNC. Now we will see how these DNCs will be linked to CNC through a server. Now here this is a direct numeric control machine, a DNC, and there are number of CNCs. These CNCs may be of different types, and these CNCs are interconnected to the server. This is a server and we are calling this combination as a DNC. Let us go to the next slide. It is CNC programming. CNC programming is a detailed list of instructions that need to be executed by the machine control unit, that is MCU, to achieve the final shape. Let us go to the computer numerical control CNC. CNC represents all production machines that use on-board computers to control the movement of the tooling with production programs. We are simply calling these production programs as part programs. Then what is a CNC program? The CNC program is a group of commands given to the CNC for operating the machine. If you want to be a good CNC programmer, what one should know? First one is a fair knowledge about the machine tools, cutting tools and fixtures, etc. used in manufacturing process. Should have a machine shop experience for careful process planning. And basics of CNC machines, and one should know about the machine process, and one should know about the motion types and types of compensation, types of CNC programming, and one should know about the machines, mode of machine operations, key sequence of operation and safety. Without these things, it is not possible to become a good programmer. Why? Because whenever you want to be a good programmer, at first you should know about your machine and your requirement and the process planning. The success of any manufacturing operation purely depends on process planning. If you are an effective process planner, definitely the everything will be optimized, that is all the input resources will be optimized and the productivity will be increased. So, the productivity of a machine purely depends on the process planning which we are adopting. Next is steps in part programming. The first and the foremost one is process planning, axis selection, tool selection, cutting process parameters planning. You know, I told you process planning plays a predominant role. Next is an axis planning. Whenever you want to design an axis, generally most of the axes and their directions are fixed. Once again we can call it as a machine specific or a machine data. But it is possible for you to fix your own zero, that is nothing but a reference point. From the reference point you can write your programs. So at first the programmer has to define which point becomes a reference point for your program. From that point we can develop the programs for the movements of the axis. Next is tool selection, cutting process parameters planning. Even in the manual manufacturing, the success or the efficiency of a manufacturing purely depends on cutting parameters. The generally cutting parameters are cutting speed, feed and depth of cut. So similarly these parameters will play an equivalent role even in the machining with CNC system. Next, job and tools setup planning, machining and part planning, part program writing, part program proving. Here you have to know one more thing, that is job and tools setup planning, machining and part planning. Basing on the type of operation you want to perform on the CNC machine, you have to fix the path. You know, path denotes the movement of the cutter on the job from one point to the other point. So basing on the type of motion you want to adopt, the process planner has to plan for the motion of the cutter. Next is part program writing. Whenever one wants to develop a part program, let us consider he is a good programmer, and what are the things which he has to follow. There are things we are going to discuss. What type of what is the reference point, and where is the job, and what type of motion is required to travel for the cutting tool from the reference point to the job, and what type of cutting is to be adopted, and what is the feed, and what amount of depth of cut we have to give. All these parameters ought to be mentioned or ought to be specified. Not only that, whenever you want to perform an operation on the job, sometimes which may need different types of tools. Here you have to specify in the part program itself what type of tool the machine has to use to perform these following steps. All these things are to be specified in part programming. Once you write the part programming, the complex task is how you are going to test it. There are several mechanisms in INC or in old CNC machines. At that time, they are having a simple mechanism, that is by keeping a material of a wood or aluminum, they will perform an operation and they will test it. That is one method. The second method is they will keep a paper and a tracer. The tracer will give you the finished shape of the product, but all these things are obsolete. Nowadays, simulation softwares are already provided in the CNC systems. What these simulation programs will do? The user will write the part program and he will develop the part program and he will try to execute the part program by giving the shape of the raw material. Now, on the computer monitor, we are having two things. One is the shape of the raw material and the other is a part program. Whenever you try to execute your part program, it will simulate the cutting operation on the job, and at the end it will show you the shape of the finished product you are going to get. Already you are having an idea, that is what type of finished product you are anticipating from your program. Now you are having a simulated output. You can compare whether these two are tallied or there is an error. If there is an error, you are going to modify your part program and you are going to test it once again. So you are going to perform these two steps continuously until you satisfied that the simulated output and the product which you are anticipating both are same. Next is what the programmer to do. Study the component drawing, identify type of material to machine, determine the specifications of machine, determine the functions of machine, decide the dimensions and mode, that is metric or inch. Here some more things are there. One is determine the coordinate system, absolute or incremental, identify plane of cutting, determine the process parameters, determine feed rate programming, check tools required, identify special features needed in part programming such as mirror imaging and subroutines, etc. What is specifying to the user? Actually, the user has to know what type of incrementing or what about the coordinate system he want to use, whether you want to develop the part programming by using the absolute or incremental. Most commonly, most of the users will prefer incremental mode. Not only that, what type of tools he has to select. Why? Because I told you already, whenever the programmer is trying to write the part program, he has to specify the specifications of the cutting tool. If it is a milling cutter, whatever the diameter of the cutter, whatever the length of the cutter, if you want to make his program standard. So for standard programs, he has to specify the data regarding the cutters. Very similarly, what about the plane of cutting or feed rate programming? Feed rate programming always plays a major role. We know the machine feed varies basing on the cutting. For example, if your depth of cut is more, generally feed rate is less. If it is a skin cut, feed rate is more. So here, basing on the requirement, that's why it is the responsibility of the programmer what type of feed is required for what type of cut and how much amount of depth you want to select. Basing on that, he has to decide all these things, and basing on that, he has to select the correct feed rate. And the another concept is there, that is nothing but mirror imaging and subroutines. You know, subroutine is nothing but a beautiful idea. It is generated along with the computer programs. No need to write the part programs for number of times. For a particular purpose or a specific purpose, we can develop the part program and we can store it. Externally, you can specify what amount of data which is required. So just by specifying the data, you can run the group of steps. So simply we are calling this as a subroutine. The next one is nothing but mirror imaging. The beautiful concept in case of CNC is nothing but mirror imaging. Whenever you take any object, most of the objects may be symmetric about x-axis or about y-axis. In manual processing, what we have to do is, we have to perform the operation on the whole job. But here in case of CNC, we will test whether the part program is executing the performed or required task on one part. If it is executing well, then you can ask the CNC system to execute the same on the other side. But this type of mirror imaging is possible whenever the job is symmetric about either the x-axis or y-axis. Next is Procedure associated with part programming: detailed drawing, production planning, that is a component size, type of machining required, from in which stock material is supplied, and the machine type. Process operation, schedule and time estimation, work holding and location, speeds and feeds, tooling type, CNC machining program, program proving, component production. And here whenever you observe this, from tooling type, tooling preparation and identification, work holding and location, these things will come under machine setting. So by providing this type of arrangement, it is possible to have an effective component from the CNC machine through your CNC program. Today we discussed about interfacing, monitoring, diagnosis and compensations, and the role of a compensation, and what sort of advantage, or whether this compensation is a one time phenomena or a regular phenomena, and what is a part programming, and what are the things which one should know to become a good part programmer. In the next class we will continue with the topic, that is what are the different concepts regarding the CNC part programming, and what are the different codes, how can you develop a program, and how can you attain the component for the programs which we generated.